For those of you who don't know who this man is, his name is Troy Newman, and he is the national president of Operation Rescue, a vehemently anti-choice organization. I have known Troy since he arrived in Wichita, Kansas in the late part of 2001. Troy, like all anti-choice activists, has fallen under fire over the last few weeks, especially in Wichita, where, as many of you are already aware, Dr. George Tiller, perhaps the greatest of all advocates of reproductive freedom, was shot and killed on June 1st of 2009. Troy Newman has repeatedly condemned this attack and also called for an end to violence against those who provide abortion services. The following is a message to Troy Newman. I believe you, Troy. I believe you when you say that you did not wish Dr. Tiller dead. I believe you when you say that you have no wish for further violence against doctors. However, Troy, before you begin proclaiming that you have converted a maggot punk, even the one who was quoted out of context regarding you in Rolling Stone, I think that it is important that you understand the reasons why I believe you. I do not believe you because I think you are a good person. You are not. I do not believe you because I think you are a good Christian. That is a contradiction in terms. I do not believe you because I think that you follow the teachings of Jesus. You clearly do not. I believe you because I know exactly who and what you are. Troy, you are a lying, cheating, conniving, freeloading pig. So why on earth would I believe such a morally and intellectually inferior bottom feeder such as yourself? On your Facebook page, you list your political views as to the right of Rush. It's interesting that you use Rush Limbaugh when defining yourself because you have something in common with Rush. Both you and Rush owe everything you have and everything you are to someone much greater than you. Rush Limbaugh was nothing more than a second-rate sports announcer before he was handed a gift that made him who and what he is now. That gift was President Bill Clinton. Without Bill Clinton, Rush Limbaugh wouldn't have had an enemy or a favorite target to spew his vitriol at, and his legions of angry white males would have never even known his name. And like Limbaugh, Troy, a man much greater than you made you who and what you are now. His name was Dr. George Tiller. Without Dr. Tiller, where would you be right now, Troy? One of the first things that you ever said to me was, I love Wichita. I've always wanted to live here. Would you have still loved Wichita and dreamed of living here if the absolute antithesis of the Bronze Age mentality that you promote hadn't lived here as well? Would Wichita still be your dream city without the most outspoken, undefeatable, and unapologetic advocate for reproductive freedom didn't practice medicine here? Would this still be your final destination in life if you didn't have a central boogeyman whose name you could conveniently rhyme to herd the flock into line so you could extract monies from them to go fight on the behalf of all that is good and right? In short, Troy, I believe that you are sorry about Dr. Tiller's death because you have now lost your meal ticket. Now that Wichita has no facilities left that will perform abortions, what plea will you use with the gullible to convince them to fill your begging pot? Will Bellevue, Nebraska replace Wichita as your dream city? Dr. Leroy Carthart doesn't rhyme quite as well as Dr. George Tiller, does it? Troy, I have known you were a liar since the very first time I met you. Specifically, the second full sentence out of your mouth directed towards me was such an obvious and transparent lie that I still consider it an insult that you would take me for such a fool as to actually expect me to believe it. The first thing you ever said to me was, "Hi, my name is Troy Newman," which proved to be true. I then shook your hand and asked, "What brings you to Wichita?" To which you replied with an inexplicable straight face, "I love Wichita. I have always wanted to live here." Troy, I have lived in this area my entire life. No one loves it here. No one dreams of living here, and no one leaves Southern California to live in Wichita, Kansas without a very considerable financial motive. Your motives for coming to Wichita were so transparent they were laughable. You came not to protect the millions of innocent children that you claimed were being killed. You didn't come here to spread the word of God or lead sinners to Christ. You came here because it is what benefited Troy Newman the most. You came here to take over Operation Save America from Dan Thompson. You came here to push Flip Benham out of Operation Save America and take over Operation Rescue for yourself. But most of all, Troy, you came to Wichita so you could use, abuse, bastardize, vandalize, defame, and slander for profit the name of a man whose shoes you are not fit to lick.